Hi, it's Dr. Doug Curtis.
And UC Curtis from Dyslexic and Unstoppable.com. Today we'd like to take a moment to talk about your child having reading issues in school. And we want to talk about little hints that you can see along the way that will help you figure out if it's just a beginning reader issue or something more involved that needs more attention.
Mm-hmm.
So one example I think of is when our son was in kindergarten, first grade. If the teacher was reading the story, he would not want to stop. He would want to read. He would want to interact. He wanted to, answer the questions, and he kept going and going. But when, like, for a math problem, when he got to like first grade, he is super good in math, like excellent, advanced. If you ask him a question, he won't stop talking. But at that moment in first grade, when he had to read the question, and that's the key thing, when he had to read the question, he couldn't always answer the math problem or solve the math problem because he was having a reading issue, not a math issue.
Right, exactly.
Which is a big difference there.
It actually reminds me of some stuff you mentioned in your book about the inconsistencies on your report card. That you're excellent in one area, and then you needed to concentrate more or apply yourself more in other areas. So I think that's a big thing is seeing inconsistencies between two areas like that. Or like you said, the math, where the math facts itself, the child is great at, but as soon as they have to actually read it, they have difficulty. Or the difference between oral tests and written tests. Because a lot of times when he was going through the early stages of his reading classes and that kind of stuff, before we had gotten him the help he needed, if we asked him questions, he could explain it in detail forever. But as soon as he actually had to sit down and write it out, especially writing, it was very difficult for him. He took a lot of energy. He would start to squirm. He'd want to get up and go get something to drink. He'd have an excuse why he couldn't do it. And answers that were written really short. It was just 2 or 3 words if he could.
One thing that comes to mind is also when they're like in kindergarten, it looks like they can read because they're actually looking at the picture, and then they can figure out the words. So we have to be careful with that. It's hard at that age to figure it out, but the moment the picture starts to be removed from the story and you see that they're struggling, you need to make an effort to check it out.
Right. And if you suspect that, what you might want to do is turn it into a little game and say, okay, let's read the words first, and then we'll look at the story and we'll talk about it. Look at the pictures and then we'll talk about what's in the picture, so that they don't see the picture first to get the gist of the story. Because especially the really smart kids, like our son is really smart. He's able to figure stuff out. So he would often use that because he couldn't sound out all the words down at the bottom. He would use the picture to figure it out, and it looked like he was reading. So doing that in reverse gives your child a chance to see, is there an issue? And then if there is, then you can of course get stuff checked out. And we have some tools on our website that go into some of this, some of the diagnostic tools like the alphabet test we have, and then some of the other ways of helping your child when they have problems. So.
Like reading,
So anyway, some hints as to when it may not be so obvious that it's dyslexia or a reading problem. Some hints as to what to look for. And let us know what your experience has been. Leave us a comment below, and visit www.dyslexicandunstoppable.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.